Hi, welcome to another video, and this time we're going to compare the PARD 008S versus the PARD DS35. So let's compare these two scopes. Now the 008S is actually a lot smaller. It will basically sit on your hand. Its mounting system is the traditional Picatinny rail mount versus the PARD DS. That's going to use your traditional rings. These are Night Force rings. The box actually includes a set of normal rings. It's a 30mm tube, so you've got a lot more mounting options that you can do for different rifles. You can move the rings to anywhere you want as well, for eye relief and so forth. Weight wise, this is approximately 700 grams versus about 450. Now most of that is the extra metal in the tube when you actually look at it. Going around the unit itself, both have inbuilt illuminators. This one is here, again spot and flood by pulling it in and out. On the DS it's located on the top, spot and flood, and you can also unlock this head and move the actual torch itself to get it exactly where you want and relock it. Rangefinder sitting right next to it. Now one question someone said, is this going to get caught on your rifle as you walk through the bush? In reality, no more than anything that would get caught underneath your scope between your barrel. So there is no issue with that being there. There are also DS models that don't have a rangefinder or even an illuminator at all. They purely look like the scope body themselves. Sensor wise, this one's got a 2000 pixel sensor versus the DS35 has a 2500 pixel sensor. The DS3 has a 2000 pixel sensor, so there is a difference between the two different models. This one has a lens cap but no iris, whereas the DS has a complete iris and a lens cap. This one becomes focus free, which as you'll see in some of our videos is actually a brilliant feature versus none in this one. The eye relief, like your traditional scope, you're going to get very close to any night vision device, doesn't matter what brand really, you're going to get quite close, whereas the DS, you have 100mm of eye relief. Now no joke, that makes your shooting position far more natural and what you're used to with your traditional scopes. Menu control wise, you've got your top turret, a twist and a click, which replaces most of these buttons on the top. The DS also has a few switches down here for your rangefinder, your day night and your illuminator. Your power button is on the side versus the side here. All in all, the DS is actually a better scope performance wise, larger sensor, and its features alone of the focus free and the eye relief do make it a significant improvement, even though they are similarly priced. The S, its biggest advantage is its compactness. It really is tiny and it's half the weight. It's also completely all built in, so if you are after something that's really that small, then the S is definitely the one for you. Now both scopes are equipped with a full ballistic system, so using the rangefinder you tag the target and the system will show you a new aiming point on your reticle based on your individual load, so your velocity, your G1BC, your elevation, your temperature, your scope height, which is all completely customizable. As a word of note, you need to actually check what your velocity is, not just take one off the box. If you put garbage in, it will give you garbage out. Now we've tested this with match grade 22 subsonic. It is really, really good, and it certainly works. And a lot of guys in the UK are using these on air guns and so forth, and they need to know their ballistics correctly. In case you're wondering, the DS also comes with a rubber eye cap. Now this one's actually a screw-in model, it doesn't push over or anything like that. So at night, if you want to shield any light splash, you can do so, still keeping that eye relief. And during the day, when you don't need it, you can simply unscrew it, put it back in the box. Now I was once asked, so how good are the PARD internal IRs? Are they rubbish? Do you actually need a torch? Well, the answer is no, they are really good, and you do not need anything out of the box to make them any better. They in all reality go a very, very long way. This S model and the DS model, you're talking 400 plus meters with the 850 models, as you'll soon see. Now to actually beat that, you need something pretty much like that. Now remember, the 008 fit inside my hand? Well, That's a Coyote Cannon from the USA. It's a brilliant torch. With this, we can get over 1,000 meters. We can light up a whole field if we want to. You don't need it. There are a few reasons where you might want to use it. Now for testing wise, what we've done is we have a tripod with 3 positions in it, and we're going to put the DS in one with the 008 next to it, so you can compare at the same time during the day each image. At night we won't be able to do it quite at the same time because we want to use the illuminator from each, and if you use the wrong illuminator you're giving a false image of what the actual scope will perform with. So here we are for our first position. We've got the fence post down there at sort of 50 odd yards, the wood trough at 180, and the cows way across here at nearly 600 to that ridge line, which is over 900 yards. Then we have our second position up here, which we'll film from the top of the hill to across there for some closer range stuff. And we already did this section during the daytime at midday, just for the highlight with all the extra sunlight, and now we'll do the evening. Now while we were filming, this guy turned up in a tree right next to us, about 30 yards away. He is a possum, which is a pest in New Zealand. Now it very clearly shows the difference between the 2 scopes. You can actually see the image difference between the DS and the 008. Now this was filmed with the DS with the lens cap closed and the iris open. You can very clearly see the greens are more green, the colours are vibrant, and the actual overall image is a lot better just with that alone versus the 008. The top picture is filmed with my iPhone, so you can actually see the circular view that you look into. It's slightly different to what you see through the sensor, but either way it's a very good image and very easy to see. Now the actual conditions that we were filming in, we had had rain for basically 2 weeks. This was the first fine day, and with the hot sun there was an awful lot of moisture in the air, which you can actually see in the film. So please take that a note, but this is actually a true side-by-side, both were used at the same time, but don't take it as the limiting factor to the performance of this scope, because the moisture in the air does affect their performance. So this was filmed in dusk. There's absolutely no IR in this image. The lens cap on the DS is open, and you can clearly see that the DS is far more sensitive and producing a better image even without using any IR. This is continued once we turn the IR on. Now the DS has a nice Aimable IR torch that you can move and lock. Plus you can also see the moisture in the air, especially once we go out towards 580 meters. The DS. So, as a bit of a conclusion, the DS is definitely better than the 008 in pretty much every respect except for the actual size. The performance on those cows, the possum, and including the little possum in the tree just here, clearly showed that it was better imaging, better range, and the better features with the fast focus and the eye relief definitely add up to an improvement. Still the choice, and the main thing to consider is really just the size. The DS is obviously a newer model, it's got some newer technology. So, that's the conclusion.